This is the Hog Central Podcast, sponsored by Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app. Bet with the brand you trust. Bet with Oaklawn Sports. And now, here's your host, Steve Sullivan.
Welcome to our Hog Central Podcast. I'm Steve Sullivan, longtime KATV sportscaster, along with the man who does it all, morning radio host, Touchdown Club, former Razorback linebacker, team captain. Got too many titles, Baz.
I do. We didn't get it done this weekend. I'd like to add one more: happy fan, but happy alumni, but not the case.
Sam Pittman said after the game he was discouraged or disappointed. I wish he had used the word embarrassed.
Yeah, it's a big word. It's a self-reflecting word that's a pretty heavy word, but that's what it is. I mean, we got embarrassed. I mean, it was. He did say, "Hey, we failed as a coaching staff.
Yeah.
We failed as players. We failed all the things." Sully, I think part of it was they're better than us.
Yeah.
We knew they were better than us, but we thought maybe we could find a way to play. And then we didn't do things to try to adjust to the passing of Ole Miss.
Yeah, we didn't?
No, because he talked about Sully. Well, we were covering man and realized they were running right by us, and then we put with three deep. But listen. Put four deep,
yeah.
But make him run, make him have 1,000 yards rushing. They kept running right by us.
I think it was 42-17. There's a clip on Twitter, 42-10, and Hudson Clark slips one-on-one.
Yeah, nobody behind
with
him.
Watkins.
Yeah,
and there's no safety.
They've scored
42 points by now.
I know.
There's no excuse for that.
I think it was 11. Was it Watkins?
Yeah.
The dude that's already caught 4 touchdown passes, get 2 guys on him.
Do you know how many touchdown passes Watkins had caught in the previous 4 weeks?
Yeah.
0. You know what his big game was? With Harris out, 7 catches for 52 yards or 62 yards.
It was one of the most. It's only happened 3 guys or 4 guys that have caught over 5 touchdown passes in the game.
Yeah, it's bad when your head coach says we were trying to get them to run and they wouldn't.
Yeah. So it's funny, Sully. We talk about Travis Williams and how everybody was excited, feeling good. You saw a little chink in the armor at Mississippi State. Like, uh-oh.
You actually saw it at Oklahoma State. Every passing quarterback they faced, who's a pass first guy, Oklahoma State,
Tennessee,
LSU, that kid can't throw.
Well, I'm just saying, supposedly he could.
Yeah, but we won against 3 straight freshmen.
Yeah.
The kid from A&M, he proved this past week he's iffy throwing the ball. Yeah, and Auburn,
this guy's legit, real thrower.
Auburn started the freshman. Now you're going from Nussberger to this guy.
Yeah, this guy is one of the top 5 in America.
Yeah, and then you got Texas, and he's top 10.
This guy is like 707. I mean, he was just like, I mean, easy peasy. I mean, nothing to it.
Lane Kiffin said after the game he credited his offensive coordinator because he said we weren't getting guys just open. We were getting guys wide open. And what an indictment on the Razorback defense. I don't care what they threw at them. It looked, they looked poorly coached, and it's sad to say.
Well, Sam Pittman said it looked like they pretty much knew what we were doing and better than we did.
Yeah.
So.
And before the game, this is getting a lot of traction. Sam Pittman apparently was mic'd up. And I mic up a lot of coaches. And usually when you put a mic on a coach, he's a little more careful with the message he sends out. So this had to be bothering him, where he referred to his offensive line as blue light specials and Ole Miss as Louis Vuitton.
I wonder if he meant to say blue collar.
Yeah.
If he says blue collar,
light, he said blue
I know,
light.
But I said if he says blue collar, does that work?
Yeah.
It works versus Louis Vuitton.
Yes.
Blue light does not work as well.
It's like our guys are cheap buys.
So maybe that's a play. Maybe he missed to say blue collar.
And you can think about the coaches. One is a blue light or blue collar special, and the other guy, Lane Kiffin's a Louis Vuitton guy.
Yeah.
And I hate losing to Ole Miss. I mean,
Sully,
are you allowed to spray off a fire extinguisher on your side?
No. First of all, they should not have.
They did it twice.
Should not have basketball goals.
Yeah.
In an away stadium.
Yeah, and they have fire extinguishers.
Should not be shooting off fire extinguishers. You're right. That should be stopped. But Sully, you talked about this, the way this season can go with coaches and momentum.
Yeah.
Everybody's excited about Sam Pittman.
Yeah.
Everybody wants Sam Pittman gone. It's just weird how it goes back and forth.
Hey, I like Sam Pittman. I think he's a great guy. I just wonder, in this NII world, if he's the guy that's going to get your big boosters excited, your fan base excited to give. And that's his personality is one. Like at the end of the game, I think people want to see him angry. That's not Sam Pittman. And he's not that rah-rah type of guy. And Kiffin, I hate him. I think the guy he had a starting quarterback in what was 56-24 throwing the ball.
Did you see?
Throwing the ball.
He wanted to score. He took it personal that they gave up 6 interceptions 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Whenever it was, and he was pumping and listen, he still.
I saw him leaving the stadium, and he had his his well tanned and his shorts. Had someone a state trooper carrying his pillow.
Dude can coach.
Yeah, he can, and
he can also recruit.
Yeah,
and pay players.
But he's the guy who fits the NIL, the guy who brings the fire extinguisher. He's
been in the NFL. He knows all the things. He knows how it works, and listen, that was a well bought defense.
Yeah,
10 of the 11 players were bought.
But we got a basketball program that's like that.
That's right.
Yeah, we got the Louis Vuitton basketball coach.
That's a fair point.
And we got the baseball coach who's got the cachet of having all the wins. But football, that's where Sam Pittman's working at a deficit, especially in the NIL, because he's not the type of guy that's going to have, steak at Ruth Chris with the, he's going to have, steaks at Lone Star with not a shot at Lone Star.
So it was 2 weeks ago, Sully, we were talking about, you said, hey, they're already over the 4.5. A lot of winners out there who bet 4.5.
Yeah.
Well, so now all of a sudden, Sully, what happens? Now it's to me about style points.
Yeah.
What do you got to be?
Right.
You got to be 2-1. You have to win one of these two.
Yeah. One more loss like this and forget it.
If Texas beats us by 25.
Yeah. You just and I love Travis Williams. And the lack of adjustments bothers me. I mean, if I was a head coach, it was who was it? It was Texas A&M's head coach. The announcer passed this along the sideline. He said he went to his defense in the third quarter and said, "I don't want that quarterback running again."
Yeah.
The South Carolina.
Well, I will say this, Sully. I like Travis Williams, and I'm going to tell you, nothing against those young men, but I'm just telling you, Sully, those secondary players are not elite secondary players, and I think against a well-coached offense.
But here I wonder the way they're coached. It seems like when I watch a deep ball and our guys running with them, I hold my breath when it's an incomplete pass until the official doesn't throw his flag. It seems like
we don't look back.
It seems like we're taught to play the man and not the ball.
I know.
How many times are we running right with them?
Yeah.
And there goes the flag.
Yeah, that, and then I tell you, a couple of those balls were thrown perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, seldom do you got a guy that totally exposed us because he had it was like 7-on-7 though. And that's been a fundamental problem of this team. We thought going into the season, we had Landon Jackson, we had all these veteran defensive linemen, and this separates the good and the great teams. Ole Miss, LSU, Georgia, they'll get after your quarterback.
So, Sully, did you see the stat the last 6 games, either the last 6 or the last 8 games against SEC teams? We've given up an average of 35 points and scored only 14. So we have just, there's only one game.
Yeah.
There's only one game that we've been competitive the last 6 in Fayetteville, and that was Tennessee. That's the problem with Sully. If we get out there and Texas runs us out of the stadium by 25, I tell you, Missouri, say what you want to about Missouri, we have not beaten them in Columbia, and I don't feel good about going up there this year.
I said early in the season I'd rather watch bad offense than bad defense after Saturday. I don't know. I mean, just those guys running not only the deep balls, but the 30-yard passes where someone's all alone in the middle of the defense. Yeah, when we have like 7 guys back there.
It's so demoralizing that you think you're ready.
And that's not Justin Jefferson or Odell Beckham or even Trey. That their number one.
Your best player didn't even play. Yes.
This is a guy who didn't have like 200. He had maybe 200 yards receiving all season, and he goes for a school record.
And then also on the other side of the ball, you give up 9 sacks.
Yeah.
9 tackles for losses. The tackle, we hold them on the 1, 4 downs.
Hey,
come back and get the sack.
I watched the replay of the game, and here's what I couldn't believe. As bad as our offensive line has been protecting the quarterback, we sent our running back out on that play and left Talon all alone.
If you're going to do that, throw it to him.
Yeah.
When you come back, listen, you see the guy come in. If he's not going to block, throw it.
Talon has gotten better, but he's still a slow processor. I mean, he doesn't get the ball out quick, and that.
But Sully, though, too, you can't let a defensive end come untouched.
That's right.
He's backing up and the guy's and that's an elite defensive end that's coming at him.
Well, that's been a major issue too. You have Sam Pittman coaching your offensive line. He's supposed to be an offensive line guru, and we get more free rushers, and we don't see it on the other side. We don't like our guys getting unabated to the quarterback, but we see it from opposing guys.
Offensive line is better this year, but still not top level.
Well,
SEC.
they don't block for the run, and they don't protect the quarterback. So you think a new offensive line, when you got 3 new pieces, would get better as the season goes on.
But at times, A&M, they played decent.
Yeah.
A&M played decent.
Yeah.
But these last 2 games, the elite, LSU and Ole Miss, 2 really, really good teams.
And what's frustrating offensively, you have times where it looks so easy. No team in the conference has figured out the slow drag over the middle. I mean, and it goes for, if Armstrong has it, it's a 20 or 30-yard play, and it is so simple. Yeah. It's just a little toss, and it's a Petrino staple. But I haven't seen a team yet that's been able to just shut down that play.
Yeah, and then the other part, Sully, you're getting penalties. You had 6 penalties in the first quarter. It's just like, you got to play more clean.
Well, you take the ball and you get, the difference between Saturday and previous games is Taylor Green's been good enough to overcome 3rd and 15 normally.
Yeah, right.
But we'd get that holding call and it'll be 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18. Here comes the pressure, and there's no chance.
Yeah, and then you got a top 5 team coming in.
Yeah,
you got number 5 Texas coming in, and they're playing for the playoff. I mean, they're playing to, so not an easy deal.
Yeah,
And I'm telling you, don't you think Sarkett forgot what happened to him a couple years ago?
Yeah. What is better, going into that off week as a high, or going in as just a team that has just gotten there?
You don't want 2 weeks of misery like this.
Yeah.
This is embarrassing. You walk around, your classmates see, wow, great game.
Yeah, the roster could look different. I don't know you want to get your NIL check, so you don't want to quit. But I mean, they should be challenging a few members, especially that secondary. I mean, that was just, I don't know who we got behind.
That's the problem, Sully. We got like 8 guys, and nobody knows who they are. You don't know. You got a few. We got
the no-fly guy. I don't want to see the celebrating when and that's something that's irritating old school fans too. Is that you're down 56-24 and you make a tackle in the backfield and you pose a stance, and
they've been doing that for years. I guess coaches today don't explain. Listen, when you're losing and getting your head handed to you, don't celebrate like you're winning.
Someone posted a Landon Jackson video where he just got up.
Take care of business, get back to the huddle.
Yeah.
Act like you've been there.
You feel bad for someone like him because the guy is going all out, and he wanted this senior year to be different. And hey, they are still 5-4. I mean, the expectations were for like a terrible season.
Yeah, this is the thing on the good end. If they were to beat Louisiana Tech in Missouri, you win 7 games. It's just win 8 games.
Yeah,
everything's fine. If you get blown out by Texas. And then you go to Missouri and lose, I think he's in trouble.
You got to be, you got to be, if you're Sam Pittman, you got to go to Bobby Petrino and say, we got to outscore some people. We need, when's the last time Arkansas has hit a streak route?
You're right. You look at what Ole Miss was throwing, the vertical routes.
We don't even try.
We have not. Of course, Bobby Petrino is back crossing routes.
Well, he needs to be about deep routes, quick scores. We're not.
I agree.
We have done a great job of moving between the 20s, and we did see another. I don't think he's going to start this next week and a half unless Taylor Green is totally compromised physically. But Singleton. Yeah, I mean, his ability to hit some impressive passes. I don't know what team defense. Knowing Lane Kiffin was probably still the first team defense.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Then his running.
Yeah, couldn't bring him down. I like him. He's a great number 2.
Yeah, you're in a position now where you've gotten to the point where if Taylor Green makes a few mistakes, you don't feel bad, putting that guy in for a few series, see if he gives you a spark, because he now has a kind of a resume now where you've seen him built up where he can make a difference.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good number 2. But like you said, the one that gives you all you have to do is see him take off, Taylor Green take off. Like, wow, guy covers a lot of ground with 2 steps.
Oh wow, yeah, he was. And you saw the quarterback run early in that game. How important it was when he just took off.
And you lost Braylon Russell early.
Yeah, I don't think that made a difference. They weren't blocking.
No, I don't think it does either. But you didn't have him in there.
He did make one good run. He got out of the end zone to prevent a safety early in the game when they got penetration. And that's something that's irritating too. Is with our veteran defensive line, they make no plays in the offensive backfield. We see other teams like I think they had maybe 13 or 14 tackles for losses, and we had like 1 or 2.
Oaklawn Sports is so simple to use, anyone can do it. Probably even an ex-football player.
And you can take it anywhere. Pocket size, sort of like you, Raj.
Small perhaps, but powerful, like this offer.
Sign up now for Oaklawn Sports and get up to $1,000 in bonus bets.
That's like a do-over in case you make a questionable decision.
Too bad they can't do that for haircuts.
I'm calling your mom.
Now with new and easy funding options. Bet with the brand you trust. Bet with Oaklawn Sports.
Woo!
Light it.
We can take people where most people cannot take them.
The generations coming together.
That place was jumping.
The Triple Option, presented by Wendy's, wherever you get your podcasts.
What was your sense from the fans, if you're watching on social media and what you're hearing?
Well, Pittman takes most of the abuse, you know. I mean, that's the, you know, I haven't really seen a lot of people go after Travis Williams. You know, it's, I think they have faith that he'll get it corrected. And
How much of the fan base do you think wants to move on? How much of the fan base wants to give
I think
him
it's
a
probably
chance?
85-15. You know?
Is that right?
I think so. I think, you know, but, you know.
To move on.
To move on. I think they decided that last year, you know, and if it's tough when you lose faith in a coach as a fan, it's hard to flip the other side. I use Houston Nutt as the greatest example. His last game, they won at LSU and beat number one. We brought the Wood game.
How is that even possible?
And that was his last game. When things get ugly, I mean, it's really hard. And last year they got ugly. And now it's got down to the point where you got to have someone with a lot of money so excited that they're going to say, I'm going to cover that $11 million buyout or whatever.
I remember, Sully, the Travis Williams defense last year was really doing well till they got to Auburn and Missouri. We could not cover Missouri just like we could not cover Ole Miss.
But here's a stat. You know how many plays over 30 yards they allowed last year, 35
Who's
yards?
that?
Arkansas.
How many?
2.
How many? They had 4. They had 5 on one quarter, I think.
And it's not all just that we don't have athletes. Playing the secondary is being smart and playing together, you know, and I just get over the fact that they seldom play the ball.
Yes. All I know
mean, how many of those early balls that Dart throw up and his receivers were one-on-one and they just went for the ball?
All I know is you and I were in the press box. We're looking out, and there's Hudson Clark out there by himself against the dude who's already caught 3 times. Like, give him some help. Look at this. Time out, move over safety and get up. And runs right by him.
Yeah.
That's not. Can I tell you, that's not fair to Hudson Clark.
Yeah, they had one series where they stopped him in the first half and they went all-out blitz twice.
Yeah.
But if that all-out blitz doesn't get home, then, you know, you're
again,
in trouble.
Let's be acknowledged. This is one of the top offenses in America.
Yeah, and
so it's like number one.
You just faced 2 of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country.
We're not.
Now you get numbers like 7 or 8 viewers.
Yeah, this is an elite, one of the top elite. So it's not like we just got burned by a nobody. These guys are really good.
But the receiver is not Odell Beckham or Jefferson
But I tell you, I'm like Sam Pittman. He said, just say, I don't care if they run for 1,000 yards. Back everybody up, make them throw in front of you, and make them catch it in front of you.
Yeah, it was just, it's almost hard to fathom all those bombs being hit.
I know. I hate it for the fans. I hate it for the players. You know, it's just not a good day. You go, you know, where everybody was excited there for a while.
Yeah.
Remember that week in Tennessee? Oh my gosh, it was so exciting. Get ready for LSU.
Hey, but look at this season. They've been competitive. They were
That's right.
They were in the game against LSU to the fourth quarter. They beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing to expect something like this would happen. And LSU had not scored over 30 points in a conference game.
Yeah.
They had not scored over 30 points. They were sputtering offensively.
Well, again, we saw a little bit of it in LSU, defensive-wise. We saw a little bit down in Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And then it was just unleashed, you know, by Ole Miss. And like you said, Texas can throw it around too.
Yeah, for as many weaknesses as they have, it's pretty impressive they are 5-4 because they don't really rush the passer and they don't really run the ball very well. I mean, it's you know, and their MO at the beginning of the season was, remember, and they still stopped the run defensively, but we were Taylor Green and Jaquinda Jackson were among the top 10 rushers in the SEC, and that's been I think that has been the downfall of this offense, because if you could have kept the ball away from LSU and frustrated them a little, but you couldn't do that.
Interior line play's been a challenge for us, Sully. We're better than the offensive line, but not good enough to play with those big boys.
When you have good tailbacks and you have a quarterback like Taylor Green, you should be able to run the ball.
Yeah, and you mentioned Oklahoma State. They have not won a game.
Yeah.
They have not won a game since they beat us.
Yeah.
We were all excited. Yeah, we beat them. You know, the preseason number, top 10, top 15.
But think about this. You know, week to week it changes. Think about Georgia beating Kentucky 13-12, and look at Kentucky now.
I know.
I mean, it's hard to find outside of like Indiana any team that's been good for 9 weeks.
SMU, what SMU's done?
Yeah, Rhett Lashley, and he's a name that's been popping up because he's Northwest Arkansas. Well, you look to be some money supporting him.
Yeah,
someone's got to be so excited about him that they're willing to fork out the $12 million, because I just don't think the U of A, with the financial troubles they're in, that they're adding 3% to concessions and upping the ticket for every basketball seat.
Poor old coach has got that hip thing.
Yes,
you can tell he's hurting.
And then
tell he's hurting. He can't walk.
Yeah.
Oh my, just a miserable experience.
Yeah,
right
and he trusts, and he trusts those coordinators. And that's the one thing he lets them coach. And there's got to be a point where you got to get the defensive backs together and say, "Hey, I don't care what you do,
no.
just don't let that guy get behind you."
No, just back up. Just no. Keep going back. It's like back in the backyard.
So
back up.
So you got 2 weeks to remedy that. What do you do defensively?
Yeah, you practice fundamentals, Sully, just to go over something, and then the other is just make sure you're right in your placement and how you play. The other thing is, I think, just come up with some different employees to go. Listen, we got to play this thing safe. Nothing against you, young man, but we're gonna keep everything in front of us, and you're gonna have a safety back here to help. And
just come up and I even noticed Ole Miss was great defensively at raking the ball loose.
Yeah,
they had 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, Luke has knocked in the end zone.
Yeah, we haven't been. It's hard to have interceptions when you don't look at the ball, so they don't play the ball. You have to account on the quarterback just being way off throwing the ball.
Here's the thing: we got to get rid of the basketball goals on the opponent's sideline and the fire extinguisher. Can't happen.
Yeah.
SEC.
Yeah, who would allow a fire extinguisher? They did.
I don't know which was
worse.
Did
it twice.
Them dunking. They had dunked with a Razorback logo on dunking. First of all, it's a clown show. Do that if you want to do that at home. Don't do it on the road. Just we got to it with our producer this morning. I said, "What else? You want to bring out a washer and dryer? You want to bring out a refrigerator or merry-go-round or whatever?"
That's Lane Kiffin, though.
That's fine, but you shouldn't be able to do it on the road.
Yeah,
it just looks tacky. I know if we stop them, it would help, but it doesn't matter. You can't have that crap out there.
Georgia's probably going to bring a few fire extinguishers just in case they get Ole Miss down this week.
I think Georgia wins the game.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's a good game. I think Georgia wins, though. I think it'll be a good game.
I worry about if Trey Harris is back, and this kid is so good. And their defense, that's the story. We were talking about the Ole Miss defense all week, not the Ole Miss offense.
Well, but I tell you, Sully,
their secondary is a little iffy.
But they got athletes. They got athletes that can step on field. They've got their Louis Vuitton. They got Louis Vuitton players too. So that's the difference.
I think it should be a great game because I think it's the 2 best teams in the conference. I watched Ole Miss against LSU, and I thought Ole Miss was the better team.
Yeah, but how about the shocker with A&M? Wow, yeah. South Carolina goes in there.
They won with that freshman quarterback.
Yeah, he looked good. Wow,
he looked good.
Rocket.
He looked good. No, the freshman for the other side, A&M.
Oh, I'm talking about the freshman for South Carolina looked good too.
But he didn't have to worry about passing. They just ran the ball.
I know.
How about South Carolina?
Yeah. Again, they played really well. Thanks to Oklahoma Sports, I'm monitoring this as I make my picks.
They had LSU beaten.
Who's that?
South Carolina.
Yeah, they did. But South Carolina, I'm telling you, they had Alabama on the ropes, remember?
Yeah.
They've got athletes.
Yeah, and how about Rocket? He looked like the old Rocket.
Yeah, I tell you, between Rocket and Poopall.
Yeah, I didn't mind Rocket because I think the U of A was ready to move on.
Probably so with him.
And he's always a great kid with interviews, and he's battled some health problems, and he looked like an NFL back.
145 yards, you bet.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Looking forward now. We got this off week. Basketball plays on Wednesday.
Yeah, basketball next Monday at the Touchdown Club. Barry Switzer, Ken Hatfield, Freddie Marshall.
Yeah, how many words will Freddie Marshall get in with Barry Switzer there?
Barry Switzer I think he's 84, but he's like 35, living in an 85-year-old body. He still talks like he was at 35, still sharp. Hatfield, I mean, you're talking about 3 great. Of course, Switzer was the coach.
I'm great you're doing that. I think how great is he doing for Freddie Marshall? Because I think people forget that he's the national championship quarterback.
Made the greatest run, I think, the most important run in the history.
And he is good. It's so good at showing up for everything.
He does.
And reminding people.
You're going to show that run, Sully. He gets hit 3 times by bigger guys from Nebraska, and he finds a way. Yeah. What a gutsy performance.
If I could think of a guy, like Jerry West was the standard for the NBA. If I think of the Razorbacks, I think of Kenny Hatfield.
Yeah, he's, All-American, best in the country in punt returning. Coach Texas back to the Cotton Bowl twice.
Yeah, and so good about attending every big Razorback event, and holds no ill will of the university how it ended in his coaching. Zero. That just doesn't. It's not in his DNA.
And this will probably be the last time we see this group together.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the 60th anniversary.
Yeah, what a great,
all these guys are
great
in their
deal
80s.
for the Touchdown Club.
Yeah.
You had Colt McCoy today, and he didn't lay back on Arkansas.
No, he just said, "What did you guys give up 63 to this weekend?" Yeah. So he goes, and of course we're talking about when Petrino first year he played against him, and he was a junior, beat us 52-10 down there in Austin. So, but his family, he grew up. He said, "I used to go to Nashville, Scrappers. My grandfather and grandmother lived there. My mother went to Harding for a year, so he was really, really good."
It just bothers me that Kiffin would keep Dart in when it's 56-24 and have him throw the ball.
Listen, he remembers 6 interceptions.
Yeah,
he remembers that were. He quoted. He said, "We are 2-14 here over the last 20 years." He remembered the history.
I noticed he went up to Hudson Clark after the game.
I saw him.
Yeah, probably trash talking. You get 3 interceptions today.
I don't doubt that.
Oh man. Okay, what's your bar for acceptable the rest of the season, where fans go into the offseason actually encouraged or
you just
go into the bowl game excited?
You just can't get blown out by Texas. You got to play competitive, and then you got to have a chance
Louisiana
to beat
Tech.
Got to beat them, and then you can't get beat by Missouri. You want to beat Missouri. If you get beat by Missouri, Sully, that's trouble too.
Yeah. So
6-6 with losses to Missouri, Texas, and Ole Miss this way. Ugly losses.
Especially after a 4-2 start.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought, I thought at least, my honest thought after watching the two teams, I thought Texas was more beatable than Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss's defense is better than Texas's defense.
Texas is physical, though, boys.
Yeah.
You get ready.
You make a good point, though. They remember that first game. And
I'm going to tell you, Sark is going to come out.
He even said that was the one game that registered to him that
he realized
how far we got to go physically to compete in the SEC.
And he realized how big of a deal it was for Arkansas. Man, this is a big deal for Arkansas. So I'm telling you, he's going to come back for a pound of flesh, I guarantee you.
The good news, it's on KATV. The bad news, it's another 11 a.m.
It is. You know what? I do get to sleep in. Normally I get up at 4:30 for the buzz.
Yeah.
On Saturdays for game day when I get on with KATV, I only have to get up at like 5:30 or 6. Not too bad. Because remember I do a radio show from 7 to 8 before I go do the live shots for Channel 7. So it's makes for, by the end of the day, I was almost dozing in the press conference the other day.
I did. I fell asleep. I felt so bad. I thought Sam Pittman was going to glance over and say, "Can't even stay awake for this thing?"
Maybe both of us were dozing. Good Lord.
I was listening to the press conferences. There was some new things I heard, and I said, I must have been sleeping a long time because I don't remember any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But, people, like it or not, though, people want him to be show more irritation on the sideline, even if it's fake. Just, they want him to experience some of the pain they're experiencing.
I know. Well, by the way, Sully, just so you know, you don't acknowledge it. Another week of 70% of my picks being correct on the Oakland Sports app. I am 74% for the last six weeks.
I went with one of your 20%ers.
Which one? We did
Army.
Army. We didn't know the quarterback was not going to play. That was 3-1 in college, 4-2 in the pros.
That is crazy.
I know. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. On fire. Download the Oakland Sports app.
Go
with me or go against me.
If you were backing up all those picks with bets, you'd be a rich man.
I don't have time. I just got to get. I got to get them to the people.
Yeah. And I think I about hit the end here. Tuesday. The rankings are going to come out.
Oh, the playoff rankings.
Yeah, you've got the Big Ten now with like four teams in the top 10. The SEC. How do you think this is going to wash out for the SEC?
I don't know, Sully. It's first time going through all this process. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. Again, I think the SEC has the better league. I think they have the better
teams like Arkansas and Kentucky have screwed this whole thing up.
Yeah,
Kentucky beat Ole Miss and Arkansas beat Tennessee.
How about Vandy being in the mix?
Yeah.
Hey,
they wanted Auburn, and they have
beat Auburn and Alabama first time since 1950 something.
Yeah, and they had trouble against like Georgia State early. Go figure.
Quarterbacks beating Hugh Freeze 3 times in a row, 3 years in a row.
Yeah, it gives you a great example of when you get one player can change the program. Although their defense has played well too.
Yeah.
All right, Baz, appreciate you.
Right,
hopefully, we need to get a guest maybe next week going up to the Texas game. Maybe we'll get Colt McCoy on.
Okay, that's a deal.
All right.
Colt would be good.
All right.
Go Hogs.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Hog Central Podcast. New episodes drop Tuesday on YouTube or listen on the go. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every major podcast platform.